it's going to be green light racing here at Monza. Here goes Noah. We're going to try and go wheel to wheel with the leader, Vic, once again, back on the top step. We did say take it easy. Oh my goodness. Sinead's going to go for it here into 14, 15. Side by side, is it going to be Mercedes or is it going to be a BMW?
Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome here to Phoenix Sim Sports Le Mans Ultimate Le Mans Series here. We're now approaching through the halfway point now, and it kicks out back here in grand fashion as the season slowly draws into a close now. We're now approaching round 6 out of 10 here at Circuit de la Sauve here, and none other place than Le Mans. A track that has been notorious here and one of the most important circuits in history. It facilitates here as a home for endurance racing. Having raced here in 1923, it has been a staple of endurance racing ever since, and no other track in the world has ever come so close in terms of the endurance magic like Le Mans. A quick overlook here through at the standings as it stands. Currently now at Le Mans Hypercar standings, it's Ryan Wart that holds the charge ahead with 133 points, but Pedersen, with a very important podium place into his name, now reduces it down to just 5 points. Outside, Sebastian Bach continues on his good charge. 2 race wins in a row, it means it's 91 points, with Luis in 4th, with Andrew Taggart just falling behind 3 points adrift in 5th. Kenzo also about 3 points off in 6th, with then Rassenhauer in 7th, Hendricks in 8th, Negras in 9th, and Cheeky over in 10th with a pretty good there from his debut back over at Qatar. Over to the GT3s now. Brandley Kater makes it into 5 race wins in a row for him in the GT3s, but Ben Ward is just slowly behind and has been looking to try and take it away in some cases. Kevin Rivera over in 3rd, about 2 points adrift for that fight for 2nd place, with Matthew Webb in 4th. Alex Letelier, he's done very good, 2 2nd places in a row for him, puts him up to 5th. James Booth in 6th, Zachary Evans in 7th, Bruno Castellini in 8th, and Dean Setameyer in 9th, and Samuel Bellman over in 10th. An interesting look through the field as it stands. And slowly approaching through. 6 minutes left to go here in practice before we get down to a usual nitty and gritty over in qualifying. And can see here it's been Cheeky's been a pretty good form for himself, about a 10th faster than Ben O'War in 2nd, the current championship leader, and Pedersen hoping to try and make it into his way with a win, could possibly take the win here. The championship lead out of Le Mans, if he can ever so wish, about a second away from Wart as it stands, just only from practice at the minute. It's not looking pretty good for the BMW driver, but at least he's still within the top pack that we've seen casually. Andrew seems to be getting on for his good form over in 4th, with Sebastian Boll, the man that we've seen won twice in the last 2 races, is all over in 5th. Got a little bit of work to do, but again, he hasn't really, he's done a pretty good job in qualifying, but it's the races where he makes up through the field. Cruchon, he's one of the Frenchmen, he's going to be a pretty favourite to look out for, so definitely do keep an eye on him. See with the Peterson and also with Louise, both of them who are driving the Alpine cars. Both 3 of them are looking to try and hope that the French anthem is played over here at Circuit de la Sauve once again. It has been in quite a few number of occasions, but with that bit of French pride behind each 3 of them, with their cards and the nationalities respectively, definitely do keep an eye out for them indeed. Amaro in 7th for the Cadillacs, with Rassenhauer at 8th. Luis, as we mentioned before, the Alpine at 9th, with Hendricks back in his return after from Portimao, seem to be leading pretty well, so also keep an eye out for the Canadian in 10th, and then Marquez will complete over through in 11th. Now just looking out through the rest of the field as it stands, there was Taggart up for ahead, and I think this is going to be coming through the GT3s now, as you can see there with Bradley Catter and holds on to the lead in the GT3s. Again, showed very good strong row of form for himself, and indeed at most, and you know, it's been effectively very, very good from Bradley indeed. Nathan Carter also in 2nd place, and Stuart Brady in 3rd. I believe these two to be I think the new in recent ways, especially my first times commentating for them here on these races. Bartels in 4th, with Florian Wooler in 5th, and then Swethmeyer in 6th. Karen Rivera, we usually see him high up in the positions, over in 7th, and Ben Ward in 8th. lot of challenges up for these two, especially with the form and pace that we're seeing from these newcomers. Spokukas, Linus Spokukas in 10th, but with Brian Mass in between Wart and Spokukas. Over in 9th, Samuel Billman in 11th, and Matt Webb completes off through the GT3 class in 12th in that class. Similar protagonists, new different names, 12 cars through on, nearly 12 cars actually, 11 cars over the hypercar class and 12 in the GT3s. Going to be slowly go over to qualified very shortly. It's been 8:32 now, so going to try to see how this is going to happen. But a quick look now on through, right on board with Bradley. As we're just gonna see him right out through the first sector. He's done very good so far. This is going to be one of his toughest challenges yet to try and navigate through this notorious difficult Circuit de la Sarthe. Navigating through what was effectively 3.262 kilometers of track, 8.4 miles. A lot of corners for drivers to able to navigate, 38 turns. A track unlike any other. One of the few in the world that somehow still manages to retain its old school aesthetic from the 1928s, and yet it flashes and meets with modern safety and the speed that the GT3s and the hypercars have to now withstand nowadays. Of course, with as many turns as it was back in the 20s and the 50s, it still remains to be interesting here to see. Hypercars, of course, setting fast records. Fastest that we've seen back in 2019 from the LMP ones. The hypercars still give him all that adrenaline rush to withstand. And now using a bit of the slipstream coming the exit of the first Mulsanne chicane. A little bit shallower for the first one than it is into the second with himself. And you can just see here, which is a bit of bump drafting going on with Bradley as it stands. Is going to be trying to reach nearly 280 kilometers or so with the slipstream. Just backs off and holds on a little bit. Again, it is just a deep practice. Through the other chicane it goes. Needs to just trying to keep nice and tidy. It's something that we're definitely going to be able to see at least in this race, therefore upcoming. And again, just makes it all the more interesting for Bradley himself. As you can see here in the GT3 Hypercar class, of course 12 overall, but first in the GT3 class, furthest part of the track, and indeed also one of the more tightest ones, Virage de Mulsanne. Could the go through this other similar longer straight than what we see for the Mulsanne out for the second chicane. Wayne able to capitalize from the people of it as he's bump drafting very well. Virage to Indianapolis upcoming. Wait for the hypercars. Hypercar drafting is going to be the big difference maker here today. As I will just lower myself down just a little bit as I haven't turned up my audio, but that's fine. 40 seconds over left to go here at this amazing track and this incredible event that we're going to see happen very soon eventually. As I'll get through the tower up. I think everyone is currently here as it stands. There's Wagner Marquez. And see how he'll navigate through here. Of course, the Peugeot being statistically pretty strong over the last few races with how well Sebastian has managed to climb that up for the field. Also, do keep in mind Sebastian and Wagner will also be looking to put in their French cars also into the top step performance too. Again, with that national pride at hand, it's can really drive places here. Checker flag drops will match the end of qualifying, and we're going to slowly get down through here. Half an hour qualifying session, of course, but 10 minutes for GT3s, 10 minutes for the hypercar class, followed by a 5-minute break in between. 25 minutes as it stands. But Marquez at least going across the line, 3:27 flat, 6:7. That's going to be the provisional time, or approx more or less, for what we're going to see here today. And it will slowly come down to a drop. Big Bradley has indeed come through with the previous fastest time over in qualifying. For I think it was back over in Qatar, notorious difficult and has less track surface. He comes in through here, practically guns a blazing, and sets a strong qualifying time for himself. Question is if he'll be able to replicate through that in a long track as Le Mans. And also with these long tracks and the amount of time for qualifying that we have, it means that effectively you need to effectively put as much as laps as you possibly can. But I think we can only see maybe max or 2 or 3, whereas compared to the normal 5 or 6 that we usually see from hypercars and GT3s respectively, that added track distance means that you have less chances to perfect your lap time. So it's not effectively going to see what we're here in qualifying, because everyone here has gone out for about 30 minutes or so perfecting their lap times, but it's going to determine to see qualifying will be together. Thank you very much, Kevin. So it is going to be all together for 25 minutes. Alright, so that's going to make things a lot more easier for the field then as it stands. Thank you very much, Kevin Rivera, and as you mentioned before, do I call you daddy? I might do. We'll see you later on as the race comes on progress. Just do your best. Thanks for that much, Kevin. Just appreciate all the detail for it as it stands. Green flag drops, and Kevin's thing is correct. A fully loaded grid here, 25 minutes is all that's going to make the difference and set the pace here for qualifying today. It's dark actually, I believe, as it stands, which will also make it pretty more interesting, since some of the track surfaces indeed lit than others, especially through the second and almost the third sectors, a bit out of the away from the second Bugatti. It's less lit as it stands. Going to see for the hypercar to go past. There will be Kenzo, of course, the Frenchman, looking to get, I believe it might be his second pole position, if I'm not mistaken. But again, a lot of work cut out for him, and we'll need to do a lot indeed to hold on through that as it stands. And I'm just going to have a look over through the standings as it is. Again, just mentions over through before. Indeed, Ryan Ward holds on to the lead just a bit for the time being. Peterson himself is going to need to get his sort of work cut out for them and just try to cut through. It's not undoable, but it is going to be a bit hard. We have seen people recover back from such situations as it stands. Because Cruchon, Luis, and Patterson for up ahead. Cheeky over in 4th. Mar in 5th. Those are the ones that are currently on track now as it stands. We're going to slowly see them come through to do their qualifying runs as it stands. Ben Wart, first over in the GT3s. Hendricks and his brother of Ryan just following behind, also warming up their tyres. Spokoskas second just behind with Bartels. Ressenhauer just slicing through the field as it stands. People to do keep an eye out for. Ryan will does make the overtake for his brother on for the different classes as it stands. And also makes up way for Hendricks race out the way for Ryan as well. There's Rassenhauer just down behind, and Spokoskas as well in the Mercedes follows behind. Bartels in 4th. You can just also see the foreground, and Sebastian Ball also going to make his way up for the field. All for the Porsche. It goes. Lagros still like in the pits as well, along with a couple others, so let's see how they go as it stands. through Indianapolis he goes. A bit too much to the gravel, but at least he manages to save it, and that's fine. Through the second corner, he goes through that Indianapolis complex. Another small straight follows up fourth. Club de Buisson. And then just slowly going to be able to put the foot down. Coming from Virage, Porsche, and DuPont. And there's Kevin Rivera, the man that helped me correct over through this qualified format today, so that's all very good news. 25 minutes, still just needs to have a lot to see, so I'm going to be able to see. And Kenzo will be the first one to start his time lap now. Exiting out for his hot lap now, and away he goes. Falling flat through Curb Dunlop. Brakes very hard through the Dunlop chicane. Needs to keep it pretty good and tidy, especially for the momentum that needs to carry on fourth ahead. Pretty good. Virage de la Chapelle. And then the S's, the first S's upcoming, and then nearly going to be fell out through Tetra Ridge, one of the most difficult corners in the entire calendar and the endurance one has to offer. But in the hypercars, it is flat out with your dealing with your curbing. I think we're seeing might be Peterson. Yeah, it is Peterson. Peterson following behind, going to benefit from the slipstream down through the Mulsanne straight. See how where this will go as it stands, and you can just see with all the traffic that's going to follow through and the slipstream that will benefit down behind. Kenzo down to 32.59. Kenneth is doing, I think, about a couple of tenths, no, a couple of hundredths quicker. 6 hundredths actually, to be exact. 600th and 1,000th. So that will be indeed good. And oh, got a little bit, hits a bit of the bollard coming through. That's the Mulsanne Virage. 81.1. He seems to be the fastest man on track in the hypercar, as it stands. And looking over through to the GT3s. Bradley is indeed faster. He's done 37.6. The only one that closest that can even replicate him, I believe, is Ben Wart. 38.3. Still riding on with Kenzo as it stands. Just exit out for Marge. The Porsche cribs are following what comes up next. Going to be very technical and difficult. But the darkness adds just that bit more of a challenge as it stands here for qualifying. It's slidey from the Plage, then through DuPont. Ducati next. Bit tighter out from Corvette. Looking pretty good, Masson Blanche. Now here we go, a very technical 2 chicanes through the final end. Very flat, but keep your eye on through the curbs. Out through chicane forward. Racontman out for the exit. Can he put a good timing on the screen? 3:26.3. Kenneth does 6 tenths slower. But Pedersen at least holds on through. Moriamar up for fourth. Ryan Wart. Wow, that is a very, very close time from Ryan. So close. And this is what Le Mans is all about. Within 100th away, faster than the man in second place. But no one seems to come out of Crucial as it stands by being 6 tenths faster, clear of the field. Of course, the championship leader outperforming his main championship rival. donning his purple Ferrari. It's hard to see who anyone else that can challenge. Marvin Rassenhauer, 2 seconds off in the Cadillac. Okay, Cadillac hasn't really been, I don't think, much anywhere through this this course. Not really much with the bases as well to help us facilitate, but at least with himself, I believe he's on the Cadillac if I'm not mistaken, him and Amar will be able to go catch up through the field. Okay, that's the benefits of here in Le Mans. The Valkyrie, it's the Valkyrie because the engine. Wart sets his top though, and nearly 2 seconds complete clear from Wooler behind. Well, Bradley Gatter would be absolutely thrilled with that. 3.2 seconds faster. Wow, that's pretty, honestly, very impressive for him. Ben Ward, closest one through on track. It's about 1.9 seconds between himself and Wooler in third. Samuel Billman in fourth. Spadley in fifth. Adai Seitmeyer sixth. Lena Spokuskas seventh. And Miguel Bartels in eighth as it stands. Cheeky, just the last one over to complete. Actually, it's one of the few needed to complete for a lap. Sebastian Bow himself out through the Molsay Virage. Do keep an eye out for him and see where he stands. As it looks, he's going pretty good here. He's gone about a tenth faster than what Ryan has done. And indeed, it's about 5 tenths over. Yellow flag somewhere. Templeberry gone for the time being. We're going to see a lot of yellow flags here at Le Mans. 15 minutes left to go here in qualifying. Gonna wait for all 23 cars to set their respective laps. David Shiki actually 32.2, so he's 3 tenths faster than Bao, and also 80.4, which is nearly 6 tenths faster than Bao. So this is looking to be a pretty good, respectable lap for the Ferrari driver if he can do anything up through the field. Of course, last minute promotion up through this tier. Ryan Wart closes for the gap, actually, I believe, down to 4 tenths between himself and Khrushchev. So it's improved by 2 tenths indeed for Ryan. Look how close David goes in through the wall in Porsche, just giving hardly a centimeter of space. And just keeping it through nice and tiny, not trying to get touch through the grass much, but using as much as the track surface as available to him. Through the final few chicanes, are we looking at a new pulse in here from David? Yes, we are! And 1.7 seconds faster than Kenzo. And that is incredible. Properly clear. We've seen our first ever first ever one to bring it to the 324s. And still gonna go out for another one. Sebastian goes across the line. The best that he can manage is only 6th as it stands. Pretty much mid-pack here through the race, but I think it's still gonna be just about fine for him. About 2 hundredths off away from Marquez up ahead in 5th, and also in himself about around 3 tenths from Pedersen. A man I used to fend off for before, over in the past, especially back in Portimao and also in I think Lucelle, I believe. Quite few in qualifying left to go. Running more with Pearson now, 32.6. Might be an improvement, but it's gonna be done. We have to just wait and see. Kenzo going to 32.3 through his first sector. Need to try and do something to be able to tie it up through together. Bartels, meanwhile, in the top 3 he is, and he's about 500 off from Benwart in second, so it's going to be a pretty intense fight over for second place in the LMGT3s as it stands, if things are to go through that way. And we're just saying with Kenzo, a lot of ground for him to do, was pretty confident to see if he was able to make anything from it. Does weave just a bit. I think he might have either warmed up the tires or something for his part of the track upcoming. Nor indeed with this night time, it's again just lower visibility, so you can't really see through the corners up ahead, so these drivers have to rely on pure instinct, and with the practice that has been put into beforehand on the race, indeed it will seem that way. C on board with him now. For the Muslim straight we go. This is going to be a very technical one we go through here. Not just for here, but on for the exit. And one's going to be able to go for upcoming. Another couple of yellow flags up on the screen. They're just going to disappear. So we have seen a bit of incidents now as it stands. Going through the foot down. GT3 up ahead. And it's what we've seen before. What can be a bit of the possibility. Doesn't quite move out for the way. It's just, I think they both may be on for the outlaps as it stands. Won't be able to prove, but at least I don't think I was able to do so anyways. Let's see also else from the field that they've gone off through. Yeah, his second lap was indeed, second sector was invalidated, so he's going to be able to try and push again, I believe. Bradley 37.7 through first sector. Looking at a minute improvement. Ben Wart actually is looking quite good, if I'm not mistaken. Looking for personal best all throughout the board. This is going to see if he can be able to push the deficit a bit on through his BMW. Posture check. Thank you very much, Leo Koku PC1 for that. See with the little the tires that screech a bit, just being a bit difficult, but it's just putting it all on the line. I think that might have been, that was one of the Peugeots trying to get for the way. Final few corners for Ben. What can it be for him? Ford chicane up ahead. The final two turns. Be very aware of the sausage curb. Be very careful through the exit that you have. 41.8. So he's managed to climb that down by 1.2 seconds, which is pretty good as it stands. And keeps him clear ahead of Bartels, at least, which used to be super close. It's now been pushed by that very good lap to 3:10 as it stands. Now Sebastian, the man that we were seeing initially earlier on. See on board with him, all for the exit. Not really going to use through a slipstream benefit from behind the GT3s too much, given the speed differential, and we're going to see able to look through the fastest car. See the threshold going here through nearly 330 kilometers out, going through the chicane. Will actually hit it indeed, right before through the braking zone over to the Mulside chicane here one. Getting a pretty good exit here. Can't really do much to track extend, just careful through the curves. Again, accelerate as fast as you possibly can. The second Mulside straight, much deeper, much tighter than the first. Will play a factor, especially in these slipstream battles we'll see back through this straight. And again, reaching 225 kilometers an hour before braking hard once again. Lifted up a bit, hugging through the apex. Get a wide through it to hit the other one. And a good wide entry to able to facilitate a speed differential. And then accelerate up to excess of 300 once again. Flat out through the cover up ahead before you need to brake extremely hard. Down through the near 90-degree right-hander. Not quite through a hairpin, but still very difficult nonetheless. Also beware of this gravel chop as well on exit if you overcook it. Similar straight to Mulsanne, and see with the moves that are here being able to enough to have a actually higher speed after the second chicane through here. Similar to what we've seen from the corner previously, flat out, and then this time it's going to be a 90-degree left-hander. 310 kilometers per hour, now down to 100 kilometers for the apex through, down to 80. One of the tightest corners through on the track. Wide curves will be able to assist. And for the exit, we'll see what the Jamaican driver can do. Another one going through 300 kilometers in the hypercars. And here we go, one of the more technical, challenging parts of the track through the Porsche curves. They lay flat out, you really give it your all, can feel the downforce pressing down on the car on the verge of its limit. Have to be able to keep on the track, on the racing line as much as you possibly can. Any deviation out of it, you have to let go of the throttle or risk having to hit some pretty hard barriers that can even ruin your race. Through fourth chicane, the final two chicanes, yellow through the second sector from Sebastian, completes through the lap here at Secatella South. At least through this overview. 3 minutes 26.37. It's been a good lap for himself to push it up to third. But it's, again, all that he can possibly do now for the time being. There was Kenzo. Kenzo's got to 7/10s, but I think Cheeky, I believe, had, I think improved, because it's now up to 7/10s, I believe. Pretty impressive. 4 minutes for it. Left over through on qualifying. Wart will be able to go across the line. And no improvement from him. It still sticks to about 197 off from Bradley. And a 4-minute 01. Nathan Carter, he's been trying to look to maybe take Bartels' third place away. 9/10 away from third place as it stands, but Bartels still 3/10 off from second place himself in War. Beyond the next one for on track is going to be able to go for one more lap. Love the Canadian maple leaf on the foreground, on the roof. See, I think one of the rebellions behind, I think that might be Peterson? It is indeed Peterson. Peterson is going to, I think this is a time lap, I believe. For a bit 1 second off from Ryan on his best as it stands, and 2 off from him that sits in 4th place. See what he can do. If there'll be any improvement. Improvement from the personal, actually, session best from the first sector. Green from the second. And tops it off with a personal best in the final sector. And claws the gap back down to 6/10. And retains back over his position in second. Very good there from Ryan. And the championship leader back in the forefront once again. Has to fall through to see what else the rest of can do. He won't be able to go for another lap as it stands. Yeah, the Englishman just has to hope that the British driver just has to hope that it'll be enough. But what can Sebastian do? Sebastian is 400ths improvement in the first sector compared to Cheeky in the lead. So this is going to be looking to be a good lap from Sebastian. Again, always often to gain places in the race rather than usually during qualifying, but hopefully this could be a bit of a difference here, as we've seen with his sort of improvement that we've seen. Of course, Cheeky with a standout drive over in Qatar in his debut comes in here with a lot of weight and being 6/10 faster. In fact, actually Sebastian's not actually validated in the second sector, so that's gonna be it for him. He'll definitely go for one more round, I think. Yep. I think it'll be his last ever attempt for himself. I think Peterson's still not going out track, so I think that, yeah, that's definitely him done for, I believe. Let's see with Luis. Luis is off. And the man that we've seen so strong in qualifying in the top 5, the best that he can muster for his 10th. And, yeah, it's unfortunate for one of the LP drivers to be starting that far off. At least in situations like this, the tracks that could be better off to do this is indeed in Le Mans. One of the few Toyotas on the grid in Hendricks. Standout performance for him in Portimao up until what came to be a nightmare. Almost seemed to be taking the lead away from Sebastian. Has to make some foreground here. Currently last at the minute, 5.3 off the pace. 1/4 off from second. Might be able to set a representative lap time on the board. 32.8 on his. 20 seconds left to go through qualifying. Cheeky has just done 24.6. That will be the best that he can do. Ryan with a 33.25.2 best he can do. And Kenzo also to the pits for himself. 3.25.3. That's the best he can do. Ryan goes across the line. That will be 1/6 off from the pole. Qualifying is going to be soon overdone. Ryan on with him. 32.2 is his first sector. Personal best. Just keep for the eye on him to see if he can make any more ground to catch up to Karushon in third. Bradley 35.9.8. The only driver in the GT3s to even break into the 4-minute mark. An incredible pull for him as it stands. See if there'll be any more improvements throughout the entire board. Nathan is going to go on for his final. And 80.9 for Sebastian. Looking through one of the few on track. Both Porsches actually. Yeah, it's actually both Porsches managed to set through their last barnstorming laps. Is there anything going to be there for Luis? He is still going to go for one more. It's quite slow for the second sector, so the best he could probably do, I believe, is 10th. Here we go, Lorenzo Hendricks through the final series of corners he goes. Can he be able to do anything to put it up for the board, improve his lap time? It seems to be pretty good. Maybe matching Armor for 9th. Anything to break off from the top, from last place. Across the line. Yeah, he does. And up to 9th goes Lorenzo to places Amori Amar for the 9th place. Nathan Cardinal, Florian Wooler, one of the final few on track. And also Brian Mass as well. See how they'll fare. Sebastian Bowe crosses the line and 32.6. He did improve to Kenzo, but it's just not enough. And also car behind, I think it was Rassenauer, still stays in 7th, I believe, as it stands. One of the few ones in track, Brian Mass, is going to end into the pits. Doesn't improve from the second sector that he's had. Florian Wooler and Nathan Carr, the last ones out on track. Oh, that is a really wide exit for the BMW driver. 38.0. That's a very good first sector to maybe even push himself up more. Doesn't even, can't even do it. I don't think he mustered it in not much. Also left remains on the Porsche driver. One of the rare times that we've seen 25 minutes fully utilized in the Le Mans series. But if it had to be an hit track, especially had to be the Circuit de la Sarf. Not best of improvement yellow sector for the first. It does improve through the second sector indeed. And he'll be the final one to go across the line. Will be for Florian. Through the Porsche car he goes. And he still remains in fifth. And that will bring it down to about 3 tenths between himself and Carter. And thus that completes over through qualifying here at Le Mans. And indeed, it seems to be similar protagonists once again with a very, very strong performance as it does seem. Here we go for the final order of qualifying. Indeed, for David Cheeky, it's 6 tenths faster over for Ryan Ward. What we've seen from his great performance in Qatar, he does it even better here by taking his first pole position here in the Tier 1 Le Mans Series. Ryan, championship leader, that's the best that he can do, but at least he'll be very happy with his championship rival over in 6th. He just needs to be able to try and keep it home as fast as he possibly can. Kenzo Krusha, Blin in 3rd. Very good for the Frenchman to be in the top 3 up from the race upcoming. Sebastian Bau in 4th. He's still going to be in race winning contention. And Wagner Marquez makes it a Peugeot 4 and 5 as it stands. Not quite exactly, actually they're the highest placed French cars as it stands. KFL Peterson, highest placed Alpine and championship rival to Ryan Ward. Best that he can do is 6th. So he's got work to do over for the race. Marvin Rassenhauer in 7th with Andrew Taggart, who's in the chat that said it's going to be awesome. Over at 8, Lorenzo Hendrickson 9th, and Amar completes over through the top 10. Outside from the top 10, though, it is indeed going to be Benito Luis. That's the best that he could do. Just a few seconds, one tenth off from the pace over in 11th. Bradley Cater, another pole position onto his books, trying to make it 6 in a row in the class. It's frankly something we haven't seen unheard of here at Phoenix Sim Sports, with other cars also following through behind. Brad Ward over in 2nd with Mikhail Bartels in 3rd, Nathan Carter in 4th, Florian Willer in 5th. And Matt Webb over in 6th, Adin Santmeyer in 22nd, Samuel Billman 23rd, Linus Spokuskas 24th, Stuart Bradley 25th, Brian Bass 26th, and Kevin Rivera 27th. Looking over through the final grid as it stands. We're going to slowly be able to get down through to the race very momentarily. And we're going to go through the starting order here for today's race here at round 6. So, round 1, David Cheeky, his first pole position. Ryan Ward over in 2nd, championship leader. Both Ferraris, keep an eye out for them. Kenzo Cruchon, Frenchman, over in 3rd. Sebastian Bow in 4th. Following over in 5th with Wagner Marquez, the Peugeot 4-5, Kenneth Dal Peterson in 6th, an all French car, row 3 there. Row 4, Marvin Rassenhauer and Andrew Taggart for 7th and 8th. Out there for 9th, the Salt Toyota of Lorenzo Hendricks in 9th with Amari Amar, the second Cadillac over in 10th, and then complete over for the hypercar class, Benito Luis in the Alpine in 11th. For the 12th, it is Bradley Cater. He holds in the pole position with the GT3s with Ben Wart in 2nd and Mikhail Bartels in 3rd in the LMGT3s. Through the 4th and P15 and 16, Nathan Carter and Florian Wooler overall for these two, BMW and Porsche, and then another BMW in the same row, and Matt Webb and Adin Satsmeyer. Sol McLaren in overall P18, Samuel Bellman in 19th, and Linus Bukuskas completes over through row 10. Stuart Bradley in 21st in the Porsche with Brian Mass in 22nd in the BMW. Kevin Rivera in 23rd. With that, we'll be able to complete here through the qualifying row here today. Of course, indeed, none of this would have been possible without our people over at Ashatech. 5% discount over with SNX Sim Sports. Use the code Phoenix Sim Sport at checkout for discount. Indeed, links will be able there, and get yourself some very sweet deals over with incredible sim racing products here to improve your racecraft. The usual 60 minutes, which almost seems to be a bit too short in a track like Le Mans in here. The sun shines here through this incredible track. What can these drivers do in these 60 minutes? Think about the high speeds of the 330 kilometers that the hypercars were going through the Mulsanne Straight. Think about the risks that these drivers will need to take in order to gain for these positions and a chance to make history here. It's a track that every driver wants to win. Circuit de la Sarthe holds a memory unlike any other. And indeed, that's what we're going to see it today. What efforts will all these drivers do to call themselves race winners here at Le Mans? They're all going to wait for the green flag to drop. David Cheeky on the front row. What seems to be a rookie and really, really good to strongly hold it. Ryan Wart, the championship leader, over in second. And in the GT3s, Bradley Carr is hoping to make it 6 in a row, but Ben Wart is hoping to put a spanner into his works, as he's tried to do so through before. For the final corner, they go. They're going to wait for the green flag to drop here at France. It drops, and we're underway. Looking to be a good start actually for Wart. Cheeky has got no choice but to try and follow in side by side. Nearly going to be going 3 wide, looking down for the back. And Cheeky just has to do holding throughout for the Dunlop curve. Ryan manages to outbrake him though, heading down for the Dunlop chicane it goes. Can he hold on to the lead? Yes he does, but Cheeky tries to go look for the switchback. Incredible! Going to be going side by side out for the exit, and it's going to be very important to see who would down for the lead. A bit of a yellow flag. Wart funnels down behind. Already seen a bit of yellow flags here as it stands, but it seems to be very okay. And nearly out through the first sector, nearly. Onto the Mulsanne Straight goes through Tetra Rouge. Cheeky holds the lead, but it's going to be going side by side. Poor exit from him allows Ryan Wart to take the lead. At least for Cheeky, though, it's going to be a bit of a benefit for him. Pedersen, meanwhile, very good for him all the way up into third. Cruchon is going to try and hope to make it an overtake here to the Mulsanne chicane behind. And Sebastian Bau, a race leader, race winner many times in the series, is just going to see who's going to be able to come out for a top. Here we go, a little bit side by side between these two. Oh, that's going to be really close. Oh, and Peterson goes a bit sideways. That was going to allow them to lose momentum. Sebastian Bau himself promotes himself up into third. And still going to be going side by side between Marquez, Pedersen and Cruchon. Incredible stuff that we're seeing here in the Le Mans series. Ooh, and a bit of contact, a little bit of contact here. It's going to be coming interesting to see who will be able to come out top. Need to keep it very clean with these 60 minutes left to go. Take a clock, play the risks. So we sent a car that was just gone off, I believe. I think they're all fine now as it stands. And you can just see here with the amount of slipstream battles that we see here, how incredibly important it is to funnel through behind and channel it through. Nearly going to be 3 wide. Almost flat out here. Oh, contact and collisions. Oh my god, ricochets back into the wall. And Marquez, nearly takes out, I believe, Peterson, I believe. And rejoins at least ahead, but you gotta think about the damage that has happened there to Marquez. And we see here for Bradley Carter, meanwhile under pressure from Nathan Carter coming out from the exit. Nearly a sideways from Ben Wart behind. That's lost a position over to Nathan. And this is the closest that we've seen an on-track battle between Carter and Cater. Of course, Bradley trying to make it 6 in a row. It's done very extraordinarily well in the Lexus. But what can the BMW be able to respond? He uses the slipstream, able to go side by side. Notoriously interesting here for the GT3s. Bradley fends off. And he'll be able to hold on to the lead. Thank you very much, he says. And Nathan takes it all through. Gone a bit wide for Florian. And loses a couple of positions and thus in the process. At least he doesn't lose too much momentum down through the back. Then we have someone gone for him. That was Linus Puskas. That was one of the drivers that we've seen initially going through slow. Let's see here for this replay. This was already coming for the first sector, I believe. See, I think that might be the issue. Oh, and that seems to be a wheel fail, I believe, maybe for Linus Puskas. Marks our first retirement here at Le Mans. Oh no, he's still going. He's still going, so just a bit difficult there from Linus, but at least he's still going to keep it on through the track as it stands. Long race ahead, indeed. And look at this. Tension that draws to the front between Cheeky and Ryan Wart once again. Out for the missing street they go once again. And it's going to be an overtake for Ryan. He's going to be able to hold on for the lead here for the chicane. We're going to see. Need to be very, very careful here. Oh, collision. Nearly a collision. And it ended it almost haywire for Ryan. But he manages to keep his cool and holds on through behind. We're on board now with him. On board now with Ryan. See, with this massive slipstream in his favor, how much that he can benefit from David. Attention towards the back as well. Nathan also just recently overtook Ben for second. Incredible overtake from Nathan. Never seen Bradley that much time here before, but it does show the effectiveness down for the slipstream. The Pulsar in the hypercar class still held on to the lead as it stands. Ryan is trying to look for a win to his books though. Of course, has not won since round 2, but has always managed to be on the podium since, bar Qatar. And Sebastian, currently in third, has always managed to win the last 2 races, and he'll be trying to make it 3 in a row. Bit wide from Cheeky coming through Indianapolis, but at least he manages to keep it through and under control. And actually I'm seeing here battle between Wart and Kenner. And here we go. The Porsche driver comes on through. BMW will be able to retaliate. He will be. Out for the slipstream they go. Side by side. Very close action. Nearly touching each other. And Nathan manages to swing it around through the Virage de Mulsanne. And a fantastic overtake. And ooh, getting a bit sideways from, I think that might be in Wooler again. It was Wooler again. And indeed, a Coden through on track now. But here we go. How will Wart respond? Both Warts are on different, completely fights on different ends of the best spectrum. Cheeky and Wart are going to be going side by side through once again. Wart manages to take the hypercar last lead as it stands. And look at this. Wart's going to swing around for the outside. And Nathan Carter loses it and makes collision with the wall. He's kept it running. He's kept it running. But that's going to lose all the momentum that he had to fight for second place. And it's dramatic here already at Le Mans. Through up ahead now. And look at this. Sebastian Bo's now going to join himself for this fight. Through this first sector they go. Out to the S's. Through Tetra Rouge. Think of the slipstream advantage that Bao will have as well. With 3 cars be able to facilitate with Cheeky and Wart ahead. And Wart means I have to defend from 2 cars now instead of 1. How is he going to respond to this? Brief yellow flag for the time being as it stands. But here we go. Cheeky with the slipstream now. Surely going to need to make the move before the first chicane, and he does so. Side by side into the both Ferraris. Who's going to become later on the brakes? He'll have the inside line. Wart swings it around. Cheeky's gonna look through on the outside. He can't do much. He has to just follow behind and just use the slipstream as he possibly can. But look at this. All this action between Wart and Cheeky has allowed from Bao to close the gap. Another move again from Cheeky. Incredible stuff we've seen here. Side by side, both give each other the draft. Wheel to wheel action here. Through the most straight, the second one's going to be coming approaching. Will Cheeky be enough of the brakes to facilitate it? No, Wart does. And Cheeky has to be a little bit cautious. But is he too cautious? Sebastian Bao gets on through and he takes second place. And Cheeky just flashes his lights, hoping to try and get the position back. Maybe with the facilitated Ryan Wart slipstream, Cheeky will be able to facilitate something. And he'll be able to do so. But this has allowed Wart to give a good amount of breathing room that he needed. And Sebastian as well. Gotta thank for him. He's been on a charge throughout this field. Where's Booth? Booth is in the pits as it stands. So, yeah. That's just unfortunate, I suppose. It hasn't done qualifying either. So, I think he's a no-show. I could be wrong. But, yeah. David Cheeky. A good move, and at least manages to push the gap just a little bit. 7 tenths between himself and Wart, but still 3 tenths between himself and Bao behind. And here we go, the 1v1 battle here between Cheeky and Bao. Last lap time, of course, not applying. 15 minutes remaining here to go. And yeah, you can see it's slowly be able to kind of catch up. Cheeky and Bao, and oh, Bao gone wide a bit. He just needs to try and keep it controlled. Again, no deviation. I think he's gained a bit of seconds from that. Ooh, and a bit too wide on through that exit. Nearly unsettles the car, but he keeps his Peugeot under control. Through the the 2 chicanes to go. Chicane 1, chicane 2. Ooh, and Sebastian all over behind. Cheeky out from the exit they go. Again, you need to think about the pit stops. That's going to be able to play a key hand in this. Cheeky with the better acceleration at least. Then Bao means that he gets through on ahead. Down to the Dunlop quarter and chicane. That was one track debris that was sort of flying wide. Stands here going through series of corners. You can see with Bao as well, just trying to put the pressure onto him. He's definitely given it all, facilitating much better on the corners than Cheeky has done so. Out from the exit, and Cheeky not close enough to Ryan ahead. Has to worry about Sebastian behind. But at least the good thing for David is that it's he's just pulling away from Bao, which is just effectively all that he needs to do. And again, Bao goes just a bit too wide for comfort. Not facilitating. He is facilitating the track, but not in that sort of fashionable way. Let's see here for where this will go. I think we have not seen anyone making much do as it stands. Oh, Wagner Marquez, yeah, has a DNF, I believe. I think we might have seen that, I believe. And attention towards the back. That was someone that was spun off. Nathan Carter. The man that was doing so well up ahead has effectively dropped like a fly. And another momentum shift in hand for Nathan. He's going to be going for a stop, but this is going to be for the damage that happened, I believe, the lap prior. Oh, watch this. Kevin Rivera swings for the inside of the Aston Martin, gets himself up into third. And a very good move there from Kevin. Samuel just needs to stick it behind. The Mustang straight will be upcoming for him, so he'll be able to maybe make a move if he ever gets a good exit coming through Tetra Rouge, pushing through that Corvette as much as he possibly can through that American horsepower. And see here, he does respond just a little bit. Again, a bit of the flashing lights to notify I'm coming here. I'm going to take your third position. Kevin moves out the way. And he's going to try and maximize his slipstream advantage over through Bradley. 10 seconds. Oh my god. Indeed, it's going to be one of his most dominant drives if he's ever going to be able to top this off. And out through the exit they go. Samuel still holds on to the lead. That slipstream advantage that he got allowed him to retake it. It's now coming to about Cheeky is starting to close it up, but it's about 8/10 between himself and Wart, and 1.5 between Wart and Bao. Still holds on for as it stands. Second, we'll say chicane they both go. You can see in the background there, Bartels would catch up if the way it stands, having just recently displaced Wooler behind for 6th. Yeah, I think with Wooler, if that had been those costly mistakes, he would have been able to make it very early on for the brakes than the Omen was. Bailman. Quarter for they go. You can see Wart to the foreground, holds on through second, Canadian in third, the Puerto Rican in fourth, Bartels down behind in fifth. And well, the close battles for on track. Cheeky is starting to close up now. Gonna look down to about 3/10 now between Wart and Cheeky. Of course, both Warts on in the top 2 places in the classes. Wart brothers have indeed made double podiums through the past, but it's definitely going to be absolutely magical in this circuit here. Again, a track unlike effectively any other. Nathan Carr did indeed become our third retirement here thus far in the race. We will check on for Wagner Marquez to make sure we didn't miss out from that. And just Rivera be able to, can he do anything much to catch up through? He's losing time to Bellman. 9/10 slower for the second sector than Samuel was. And this is allowed for Mikael behind. That's done at 95.6. Had to be quicker! Bielman goes a bit wide, but still just about holds his on through. And gotta be worried about the track limits as well here in the Circuit de la Sarthe. As Ryan is still holding on to the lead a bit for the time being. You can see Mikhail is just slowly joining in this fight for P4. And could be through P3 as it stands, of course. Don't forget to mention, different strategies do play a role. Everyone's required to make at least one pit stop. See people pit in very different various of ways. I think the favorability is usually 30 minutes or 25 minutes left to go on the clock, and your time screen's over to the left. A better exit from Kevin. Out from the chicane Dunlop means that he'll be able to funnel in a bit behind and pushes himself also away from Bartels' risk. Tetra Rouge they both go, and the Corvette will lead the way, and unfortunately for himself, has to benefit from the slipstream, and he goes off, and he hits the wall, and he collects Bartels with him. And that was very sudden, very fast. And this was an extreme battle for P3 that was looking to be... Oh boy, that was... Yeah, that's gotta be interesting to see what has happened up there. At least, of course, you'll be able to... Rivera does benefit from it, as well as Will, that had mistakes previously beforehand. I think we have time. Might look for the replay though. Look at this. There go. Going for the Millside straight thing once again. Cheeky has done very good for the first section to climb that up ahead. 10th quicker. Sebastian Bow. See just behind. He's falling in. Just going to be able to benefit from as much as he possibly can if he could. Cheeky, I think, just lets her go a little bit off for the fall, just able to maximize for the safety as he possibly can. Won't be able to make the move down for the Millside chicane here for the first one. Might be able to make it for the second one. We'll see here. The first one approaches. Ooh, and I got a better apex at least from Cheeky, I see. Ryan doesn't have really the better of exits, but we'll see here. Here we go, just using the slip ship, just trying to follow it from behind. He's going to need to try and make the move, maybe look down for the inside. He's going to look down for the inside. Ryan has given him no other choice, hugs it down through, but David does not concede. He's just going to stay behind and just benefit from the slip ship as much as he possibly can. Again, also a good fuel saving metric as well. From all the wind that's brushing up ahead, the more that David stays behind, the more they can push on forward ahead as well. And don't forget as well, the higher speed in addition to that as well. The battle of the Ferraris once again continues. Is David going to look for the move? He's not. He is absolutely not. Just applying that pressure over to Ryan, and there's the lap traffic up ahead. Here we go. The second straight ahead. Is he going to try and bite the bullet and try and take it down to Indianapolis? He's going to look for, he's maybe trying to look for. On for Indianapolis he goes. It's going to be very close, but I think Ryan must have felt it and heads it on for the racing line. Doesn't bite the bullet to defend or take a defensive line. He just needs to occupy the racing line, more or less, and it just just needs to stay behind. The lap traffic here is coming on now into a place for effect as it stands. And here we go. The very fast technical curves are coming up next. The GT3 is going to be able in the way. This might be Carter, I believe. No, sorry, Carter's retired. I think it might have been Mass, I believe. No, it's Webb. There's Webb that was just falling behind it. There's Sebastian Bull also making up for the move. And here we go. Tension towards the front now between Wart and Cheeky. The two chicanes are through. He's going to try to look for the move. He's almost considering it. But he just looks off for the time being for the now. One chicane. Second chicane. Ryan Ward's got the better exit. And he'll be able to just push a bit for the time being. Of course, Ryan had the better lap overall. We're still only about less than 40 minutes left to go here. Went right, just too much curve up for the exit. See here between Wheeler and Rivera. Out for the exits, these two go. It's about 2/10 of a gap between those two. Coming through ahead, it's going to be anything we'll see here. Rivera's actually pulling away more or less. And watch this move for the lead between Cheeky and Ward. They've been at each other's throats for the past 20 minutes. Can David put this a bit to bed for the time being? At least before the pit strategies, he can't do anything. Has to be able to use the slipstream for the GT3s. Isn't going to be paying a bit of a favor. Through the first chicane they go. Ward still holds on through. Goes wide off of the racing surface. Almost loses it, but David doesn't. And he retakes the lead that he lost many laps ago. And that can be very, very important here as the race develops, to be able to lead before the pit strategies takes into effect. Oh, the slipstream there. That was Wheeler making an overtake onto Rivera for P3. And what a great move that was. Just before through the chicane, and manages to pull himself a bit of a difference away from the Puerto Rican over behind. Oh, and Cheeky waves his way through. Is that going to cost him a bit of time to warn? They didn't have to make such evasive maneuvers. Let's see here. As now stands, both Warts are now in second place. And actually, Wart has got a scheduled pit stop now on the screen as it stands. David doesn't for now. And Bao, meanwhile, he gets himself caught up in the third place kerfuffle, which means that he's lost even more precious momentum to be able to catch up to Ryan ahead. It's now nearly come down to 3 seconds now. Can Ryan make a move through Indianapolis? Again, hasn't won since round 2. He's been very dying to try and make it. And what we've seen a battle between these two back in Lucelle has come through here in full swings here. They're now titans here at Le Mans. Here we go, through the energy remaining now. Cheeky and Ward both were using each other's slipstreams a bit to their advantage. 36%. Crucian down behind 39%. He's going to be trying to go for the long run. Peterson will probably be the first ones we suspect to make an earlier pit stop. And meanwhile, David Cheeky has managed to follow through against the Porsche and will allow just a bit for a bit of breathing room for the time being. Incredibly important now. And Rivera at least not giving the room. That's going to be Peterson. Peterson's going to be blocked a bit from Wooler. Pedersen. Oh, Pedersen goes sideways, almost loses his Alpine car, but at least manages to keep it through and under control. Currently, as it stands, the battle for the French stands for 3rd, 4th, and 5th between both the Frenchman of Kelso and the Alpine of Pedersen. And Waller loses a bit of time from the lap traffic, as that was, I believe, Rassenau, going through. Can hear through that whine of the Aston Martin. But Florian still holds on to 3rd place as it stands for now. Closest battle on track now, Matt Webb on for the back of, I think that's Bellman going to the pit. That's going to be the first scheduled stop we've seen. And feel for the Canadian indeed, especially for the incident that has happened back over at Tetra Rouge. It definitely gave it its added or furthermore lore here in sim racing. And the gap between Cheeky and Wart is now 1 second for the time being. Simon Belmont will be fighting along with Webb and Mass. Both of them, I believe, in the BMWs. He himself also in the Corvette. Could be a quick stop for him. Tiger, I believe, made a scheduled stop. 34 seconds. Again, we've seen an earlier stopper from Andrew before, and a later stopper in Qatar. So it's just, there's no real in between for the Irishman. But we have seen his earlier stops pay off pretty well. Have seen in Portimao. We're going to see it here in Le Mans. It's completely doable. But, wow, American track limits. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Nothing like good old Sebring track limits, am I right? Okay, currently as it stands, Yuki still holds up through to the lead, followed by Ryan Ward in 2nd, Sebastian Bull 3rd, Kenzo Crucial Blind in 4th, Kevin Peterson 5th, Marvin Rezanov 6th, Benito Luis in 7th, Aloy Amar 8th, and Lorenzo Angix in 9th, and Taggart Frost completes through what now remains a 10-car hypercar grid. Now as it stands, Bradley Carter still on until 16 seconds is what separates between himself and Ward. Kevin Rivera holds on to 3rd. No, he doesn't. Kevin actually holds on to 3rd now. Florian is able to try and make the move for once again. Coming for the Mulsanne straight, is going to reach his near end. Is there anything the Porsche driver can possibly do? No, he can't. And Florian retakes the position back from the Mulsanne straight slipstream, and will hold on through. So he's going to be 3rd. Florian in 4th. Mikhail Bartels in 5th. Stuart Bradley in 6th. And Dean Sethmeyer in 7th. Matt Webb in 8th. Brian Mass 9th. Then Simon Bellman also recently just had his first pit stop over in 10th. That's completes through this car positions as it stands with about 30 minutes left to go here. A bit of bump drafting actually between the Porsche and the Aston Martin here. He's going to try and able to capitalize here from Virage to Indianapolis. Ooh, and got a bit sideways at least from Rivera, but at least manages to keep it through under control. I think that might have been a bit from Florian not lifting the gas before making the move. Of course, it has done like that whenever you push the momentum for like that. Another bit of a contact I think we see. And sideways, actually, from Florian. Allows for Bartels. Is he going to be able to catch up, though, is the question. It's hard to tell. Of course, doable. The offer GT3s. Rivera still just about holds on for the time being. And here we go. Hendricks and Omar, they're going to be in a battle for P8. Surely we're going to see one of them come through to the pits. That was Rassenauer into the pits. He's going to be the next one, making it for his scheduled stop. Canada goes sideways through the final chicane. Anything there for Lorenzo to capitalize. Always cut off a bit of gravel, and he won't be able to do so. Daviciki just still holds on to the lead for the time being. War over in second. Pound third. It's about going to about 3 seconds, almost, between himself. Wait, let's see here. The Grassenauer will be able to come out through ahead. There's Andrew Taggart that has made his scheduled stop. Funnels on through. Taking a long stop actually for the Aston Martin. I think Taggart was, I think it was outside, I believe, but it's done pretty well to catch up, I believe. So indeed, good work indeed for him. Approaching through the halfway point. Here. And he acted that over in 10th and about 38 seconds depleted from Andrew. I think a slow pit stop must have been a bit for damage. And here we go. Florian is going to be able to apply pressure. Oh, a bit contact. And the Aston Martin driver still keeps hold of his car. Of course, it's a bit unsteady. And having to make a compromise through that chicane. Can't be able to compromise. There's Andrew just ahead. We'll be able to follow through. And always, Florian just holds on through. Doesn't apply for the pressure now for the time being. But here he goes. Going to try and make the move through once again. Ooh, and Kevin backs off. Kevin backs off. And again, just almost sensed what Florian was trying to do and moved on back into the line. And we didn't back off, he doubled down more or less. But Porsche being very successful here at Le Mans. Carrying through that Porsche pride indeed is no easy task for Florian. Of course, he'll be able to try yet follow through the great Porsche grades to get maybe to the podium. Through flat out, braking very hard. Furthest point of the track they go. Bit too wide from Kevin will allow for Florian to capitalize. We'll have to find out. I think for the speeds that they're going here, he's just wiggling all over the back. I think maybe even using a bit of the bump drafts. In fact, he is bump drafting him. Indeed, maximizing that momentum indeed. Ryan Ward is making his scheduled pit stop, so we're going to see from where he's going to come out. And surely the Porsche driver will be able to pounce will come out here for Virage to Indianapolis. And it doesn't. I think just let's go for the fall for the time being. Better entry. Can he maximize that with a better exit? Sideways for the exit, but at least still holds it through. Pretty good job. 90-degree right-hander upcoming. Pretty tight, but at least we'll still get the job done. And a good exit. See you there from behind. You can see there that is Michael Bartels in the McLaren. Still yet to make a move for the time being, but at least he's going to be able to benefit from this fight that's going to happen between Kevin Rivera and Florian Wooler if they do continue on to fight. Just under the 20 minutes left to go. Ryan Ward comes out 8th. So Andrew did indeed make his scheduled pit stop as it stands for the time being. 65 seconds is the gap between himself and the leader of Inchiki. So have to see, looking through that. Gonna see if we're gonna see any more developments in the stats. Bad Wart is about 20 seconds away from Wart now. So that's also indeed gonna be interesting. See with the energy remaining, I think. Energy remaining, we'll see Wart will have 60%, 3 left to go. Oh, it's sideways! Rivera goes round! And Florian, I think, a bit too aggressive. Didn't expect Rivera to close down through the door. Punishes the Puerto Rican, unfortunately, all the way down to 6th. For a man that was effectively, well, similarly benefited from an incident over at Tetra Rouge, he himself is caught up in an incident on his involving him, and he suffers a similar fate out of the podium place. Not all end of games yet for Kevin, especially in a track like this. Bartels benefits from the most of this. For a man that was in 5th, now to 3rd. And there's Rassenhauer just down for the background as well. Could be able to facilitate in a useful battle. We'll see here the first ever multi chicane. There you go. Opt for the exit. And here we go. Good move. Good move there from Rassenhauer to hopefully they will catch up through on the head. So 38 seconds away from himself and Taggart, so he must have made a second stop somewhere. If I am not mistaken. Oh, Florian has a look through, but thinks better of it. Instead, just falls behind for the slipstream. Maybe makes it through for the second chicane is what he's eyeing for. There we go. He lets go of the slipstream now. No, he falls right back in. And the second chicane they go. And he'll still just have no choice to be behind. Bartels goes wide. Is it enough for Florian to capitalize? Let's see. And it's not enough, but that was super, super close. The McLaren driver that was, you know, about 6/10 slower on his best lap than, actually no, he's about 3 seconds, my apologies, but still holding his own very much well here for the podium place at Circuit de la Sarthe. Are we going to see Pedersen and Bao? The Alpine and Peugeot lead cars are in for their scheduled stops. We'll see where they'll be able to exit out of. Bao comes off ahead. He's going to rejoin. I thought he was going to rejoin out from Wart. Wart will take up ahead. But this is the battle for self to see how this will go. And Ryan, that has pitted, is about... That's interesting. A few seconds up for head. Here we go. Hendricks is going for a scheduled stop. Ooh, Luis goes a bit too wide. Allows for Hendricks to capitalize. And he'll make that quick work. Benefits from the mistake over at Tetra Rouge. So just thinking here, Ryan Wart is about 12 seconds ahead of Sebastian, so this is going to be maybe foreshadowing to Cheeky that he should have pitted earlier. No, pitted later actually. So it might actually benefit Cheeky from this right to pit later than now. Hendricks makes for the overtake to provisional P4. Of course, him himself and Luis will need to make their stops relatively soon. And Amar just funneling on his own. Oh, and closes the door for him in the second chicane. And the Angolan holds fourth. But at least the Toyota driver behind will have the slipstream power enough to keep on fourth. Oh, he's going to look for the move. No, he doesn't. Just funnels back in through the slipstream. He's going to be gritted for his stop. Yeah, Luis is also going to go his first up. So it's the lead to see who will take the lead in the pit strategies. Cheeky is going to come in for his scheduled stop, as well as Kenzo. So Kenzo is fighting with Pedersen, I believe, and Cheeky himself is fighting with Wart. Of course, Cheeky, fastest man on track, 3:27.4. Ryan Wart, best that he could do was a 3:29. Gone faster in the first sector than Ryan has done on the new tires. Same with the second sector as well. 4 tenths faster. Kenzo goes in for his scheduled stop. So will David. And also, Tristan looked through the tire selections as well. I think everyone might be on the mediums. I think might say mediums. I think it's probably just mediums. Into the mediums though, and through the pit stops they go. Amar, Luis, and Hendricks, as we mentioned before, and Tiger has yet to pit. Okay, so he's effectively fighting with people that are one stop higher. So my apologies for that. But here we go. Again, just very patient indeed. Gary look on through. Luis and Hendricks falls on from behind. So Hendricks does make his stop. Amar makes his stop. Ryan Ward, there he is on from behind. But where will Cheeky be? He's going to exit for the pits. Is it clear? And it is super clear. Kenzo actually takes third away from Sebastian. The problem, at least for Cheeky now, is that he needs to try and get his tire warps up to speed more and try and get used to those new compounds. So, at least for Ryan, having been later allowed from Cheeky to benefit by about 8 tenths, more or less. And I think Andrew, that's him, cuts for the chicane. But not too egregious, I think. Thank you, Kimi and Leo Kupu. Kupu again for the for your help. For support, sir. Up for the exit, Peterson goes just 2.5 seconds away from Taggart in 5th. And yeah, as it stands, just all good. Bradley makes his scheduled pit stop meanwhile. I think he's one of the few left in the GT3s to also pit as well. We'll see here with the number of stops. And he's actually one of the first to pit. Ward follows down behind, and so will Bartels. And yeah, I think Bartels did pretty good for the position that he's done. Wooler would take the position back actually. Oliphant's lead. Bellman, of course, had to pit for damage from what we've seen in Tete to Rouge. Carr makes just another retirement. Still only have 3 retirements thus far in Le Mans. In fact, everyone is falling far behind. You can see there with Florian, Bartels, Brady, Rivera, Satmar. It's chaos here. Almost was worried there for a bit. Sebastian was registered 0 kilometers per hour as it stands. And that Web also goes into pits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everyone is pitted apart from... Okay, everyone from the GT3 cars have pitted in this in the same lap, which is quite adorable. And probably does amplify. Pitting later is indeed the best way to go through, since everyone has been doing it. In fact, the only driver that's not been doing it is indeed Bellman, and he's that wasn't just effectively for damage. And well, it's unfair to represent from him. And look at this, Ward 20 seconds between himself and Bradley. Through and ahead. And the gap is slowly climbed down from that trying to warm up the tires. 81.9. first sector. 81.6, so he's about 3/10 off, trying to get those tire temps up to speed compared to Ryan. And Ryan, meanwhile, had such better compound, has actually beaten by 6/10 on the final sector. So indeed. And it's going to be back in for two action once again. With a duel that looks to be almost done, it's going to continue on through here in its third stage here at Le Mans. One at the start, one before the pits, and this is going to be the one after the pits. And it could be, with about 16 minutes left to go, the winner from this fight could indeed clinch for the win. With no one else in sight, with Kenzo about 6 seconds off from the leader. Indeed could be for Ryan's to benefit. There we go, right on board now with him now. And you can just see here with the slipstream how much that he'll be able to benefit. What more can he possibly do, though, is the question. And with the slipstream as well that you see here, that will be approaching already 310 kilometers per hour, effectively exceeding it with the slipstream at advantage. Looks down for the inside, in through the air for Rajmal-san, up courting. And again, can't do much with the BMW through on the way. Off for the fifth. 306C got here 315 kilometers here without the slipstream now. David Cheeky, meanwhile, looking down through. This is going to be interesting, heading side by side. Is he going to be able to make the move now as it sticks? Oh no, contact! Contact, contact, contact! Oh my word! And the championship leader! Oh my word. We have to look on for a replay on that. Oh, Cheeky has lost it as well. He also loses the lead. Oh wow. It comes in full effect here. And this is completely championship altering. We have to look for the replay to see this. Sheer laps to go. Oh, they both spun. Oh my word. That is such hefty contact. At least a bit to Cheeky's advantage. He's been able to face through the track well as Ryan couldn't. That was so violent. I don't think I've ever seen such a track like contact like that ever through in my life. Ryan on board with Cheeky. Oh boy. Of course, with the benefit of this being virtual, no fatalities. Alright, tension now draws to the front here. Cheeky, I think, just made the move onto Bao. Bao will be able to make the move back. And how will Bao be able to respond? Bao's still trying to look for his win. It's still completely doable, but this damage has heavily costed David. And the pole sitter comes in through to the remaining 10 minutes left with the damaged Ferrari. And for Kenzo, it might be a dream homecoming for him. Very special to win in your home race, but it's an incredibly special in a special venue like Circuit de la Sarthe in Le Mans. Cheeky, of course, having been nowhere lower than third throughout this entire race, could be dropping to that position with unfortunately damage to him. Ryan has also been heavily infected as well. It's about 33-2. And Sebastian, at least will be making it through to top 2 in the last 3 races as David closes onto the door. On to Sebastian. Up for the exit they go. And again, just for the damage, the lack of aerodynamics that Cheeky has, I think it'll be eventually soon we'll see Sebastian maybe make for the move. It does look for the move, but David's trying to do everything he possibly can to fend off from it. Not quite daring, at least the Jamaican, and rightfully so. Better to hold on through. Just 10 minutes left to go. No need to put on much risk. See off the exit that David has. And indeed, it has gone. Bit sad indeed. Oh, and here it goes. Going for the inside. And out from the racing line. That David goes and it's been pushed off. Sebastian goes through to second. Of course, Kenzo. To think to be, he must be extremely filled with that. Can't really let his foot off the gas just yet. 4 seconds between himself and Sebastian. Sebastian will definitely try to give it his all to close on through. Of course, Sebastian has done about overall 7/10 faster on his best than Sebastian has done. Sorry, that Kenzo has done. So there is that to take into account. Consider that with Ryan just down in the background. Is he catching up? He is sort of catching up. Although that deviation after the race line for David has cost 2... No, not 2 seconds. 1 second and 1/10. It is indeed heartbreak for Cheeky. At least he'll be able to exit out through Le Mans with the podium. But it is a sign of... Oh my goodness me! Drifting through Tetra Rouge! Fantastic save there, but not what he needs, especially in regards to the speed that he'll have lost. Off for the back. Let's see here how else it will go through the field. Caravera is trying to gain some momentum back. I think for himself, consolation prize will be to be able to get 4th from Brady. Completely doable. Just under 10 minutes left to go here, or 7.5 minutes left, and currently looking over for here. Sebastian does indeed seem to be catching up a bit to Kenzo. Although 3 seconds, it's a bit of a deficit to be able to climb on through. Of course, Sebastian not being able to benefit, having been one of the earlier stoppers in the Porsche, could be seen as winning streak come to end, but at least with the podium, it's going to be a sign of things to come. Kenzo, he himself hasn't won since round 3. Of course, with the DNF over at Portimao, and caps it off with a 5th place indeed Cadillac has not been anywhere near through the form, although we're going to see something completely different here today. I believe the only other driver, the other manufacturer that hasn't won a race is just the Toyotas, of course held by Waters and currently Hendricks now, as there is Westenhauer making for the move. Rivera is catching up, 7/10 between himself and Brady. Sebastian Bull keeping the tryout. Look for that. That's going to be coming under 3 seconds now. It is potentially doable. We might see one final duel for the lead. A lot of things that can happen here in 6 minutes. Does feel a lot longer here at Le Mans. Here we'll see for another lap traffic on through. That's going to be Luis. Loses some pretty valuable seconds. Still holds on to himself within that battle for himself and Hendricks. Though he saw it just before the pits. That's actually gained up to now 2.5 seconds. There's the Toyota we were talking about previously. Just making his way through. Flashing his lights indeed through the chicane. Just has to wait behind Brady up ahead. Ooh, and a bit of his placement there kind of cost him a bit of valuable seconds. He's with Brady. Out for the exit. Porsche tooth 3-4 now as it stands. 3.5 seconds between Brady and Wooler, but it's down to 7/10 between Brady and Rivera. 5 minutes left to go. Ball's gone. Ball, I thought Ball was lagging just a bit. Just find out for the time being. Caught up a bit between Brady and Rivera now. Rivera will have to make the move. Surely soon. Through the corner they go. Out for Tetra Rouge. Nearly flat out, just a short tap of the brakes. As little as you possibly can. A bit more for Rivera, but at least a better exit from him. Allows him to use the slipstream now. Side by side. Here we go. Follows on through. And this will be one of the last overtakes we might see here in the GT3 class. And Rivera, a good move. Funnels in down through, tries to make that for the wider exit. He's going to try to carry through more speed, heading for the first chicane if we see Stewart attack. He does it, slows it behind. Ooh, and a bit comes on the apex for the Puerto Rican. Gets him such a better exit. But was it doable? Gap between Ball and Cruchon is gaining to now come over to 3 seconds once again. I think it seems to be in a bit of a stalemate for the time being. Cheeky is 1.5 seconds away from Wart. Wart just overtook Cheeky. I think Wart must have had more damage. Cheeky must have more damage than Wart did. I think we've missed that. If we can, for the 9 minutes of the thing, we'll see in the replay for it. Come on. This must be the corner that we were talking about for here. Quick easy move for him. Oh, and oh my God! Cheeky's retired. Cheeky's retired. Cheeky's retired. Cheeky's retired. We've cut that off cam. He's retired. We have to see what's happened to him. Oh dear. I don't think. dear. Put out through the Porsche. Heavy impact. And so unfortunate for him. Right over in fourth as well. Struggling from Peterson down behind. That's all the best that he could do. And marks a fourth retirement here at Le Mans. 1:36 left to go. Look at this bow, and Cruchon is now cut down to 1.2 seconds now. And the Frenchman has got a bit of work to do if he wants to try and hold on to the win that he hasn't gotten in so long. And Sebastian, meanwhile, has got a lot for himself to do if he wants to try and maintain his winning streak. Could really go either way. It's Cadillac versus Peugeot. It's a French driver versus a French team. It's Kenzo Cruchon versus Sebastian Bow. What we've seen in a massive duel between Ryan Wart and David Cheeky has now paved way between these two to fight in the dying stages here. And about 50 seconds left to go. Could really go anyone's way. Will there be anything left for either driver to pull off? It's 1.5 seconds, 40 seconds left on the clock. This is indeed going to be the final lap. If Sebastian can muster anything he can do, it could be his. Or pressure enough onto Kenzo, also could be his. He's just going to go for the Millsland straight now. This is indeed going to be the fastest one we see on track. Sebastian did 2/10 faster on the first sector than Cruchon did. Second sector, he was 181.3 and Cruchon invalidated. Through the Porsche curves they go. The timer is done. That's the 60 minutes of Le Mans done. Round 6 out of 10. And it's a dream for Kenzo. An absolute dream to win at your home race. But nothing quite like your home race being Le Mans. Through the final two chicanes that Kenzo goes. A win that Cadillac has wanted for so long. The checker flag drops. A hypercar class win for Kenzo here at Le Mans. Sebastian will come through behind to make it a second place and will be his third podium in 3 races for him, and just about loses out onto a win. Peterson would make it over to make it a French team 2-3. It'll be Peugeot second, Alpine third. Ryan Wart crosses the line. When I think was that damage for Cheeky, that gap, it would have been grown. But it comes in through to the race with 5 points, and now it gets even smaller and tighter. Andrew Taggart through the final corner he goes. It makes it through a Ferrari 4-5. And we're going to see on for the back, I believe Rastenhauer will go through to get her through Aston Martin Valkyrie. A 6th, Benedetto Luis, oh my god, just about overtakes Hendricks for 7th. Is it going to make it cement and stick? Oh no! Hendricks spins round on the final corner and he finishes in P8 backwards. And Bradley Cater would make it 7 class rounds in a row. He wins here at Le Mans. 6 in a row. 6, and he has the possibility to almost do the unthinkable and maybe make the entire season with wins. Brian Woodward come up through the final corner, effectively no man's land, but he's done exactly what he needs to do to get second place. And makes it through a Porsche 2-3. Florian Willer, among his earlier mistakes would keep it clean where it mattered most. Actually, no, Kevin holds on through. They both exchanging positions here as it stands, but I believe Florian would be going through the final series of corners and will take 3rd place. Gary Rivera over in 4th, and Bartels follows just behind in 5th. And Stuart Bradley will also come to make it 6th. Santa Maria Furr coming in 7th. Matt Webb follows up through behind in 8th. And seeing over here, Brian Bass of one of the last few finishes out on track, and Samuel Bellman also was going to come through his series of few corners out through the third sector. That's going to complete through 19 cars here. Let's start for 23. It reduces down for 19. 2 hypercars retired, 2 GT3s retired. Got a long list of the people coming for the interview. We'll go through that in just a few moments. Ryan Mass comes across the line in his Beamer to cement through top 10, and Samuel will go across the line in his Corvette to make it 10th in the classes. Incredible battle that we've seen here for the 60 minutes of Le Mans, and an exciting 25 minutes captivated with an exciting 60-minute race here as it stands here for the time being. Now look here through the final results. Provisional as it stands, being excluded for penalties. Great win from Kenzo to make it 1 second ahead of Sebastian with his late charge for second place. Pedersen would be very excited with his third place as he once again outperforms Ryan Ward for fourth, Andrew Taggart for fifth, Marvin Rassenhauer in the SMR for sixth, Benito Luis in seventh, Lorenzo Hendricks finishes over in reverse for 8th, and Amari Amar completes over through the finished positions for Cadillac in 10th. Meanwhile, Bradley Keller, and very great performance for him, 20 seconds up ahead of the next GT3 to cement another class win over to his books, completes it through with a win here at Le Mans. Ben War over in second, very good from him. Florian Wheeler kept his nose clean over for third, Kevin Rivera in fourth, Mikhail Bartels in fifth, Stuart Brady in sixth, and Dan Zittmeyer in seventh, Matt Webb in eighth, and Brian Mass ninth, with Samuel Bellman just about completes over through the top 10. The retirement speed, David Cheeky just retired about a lap prior before the final. Very unfortunate for him for his strong battle with Wart throughout the entire field, and also as well Nathan Carter upon the accident at Tetrarudge, I believe. Wagner Marquez and Linus Boskas that retired over in the first lap. Incredible grid that we've seen thus far, and as such we will go through to the interviews. Ooh.
Hello.
Goodness me, that was very tiring. Hello, Maverick. Good to hear from you again. I'll first start off with Kenzo, though, the race winner here for the hypercar class. Must be extremely thrilled with that. We've mentioned it before, how it was a dream to win at your home soil, and you've done just that with a very good, strong qualifying performance, and you've capped it off with a race win here. Of course, it's been your first race win since round 3, I believe, so do tell us how you feel.
You know? I was not listening, sorry. There we go.
You're right.
Too exhausted right now, sorry, my bad. So, what was the question?
The question, so we did talk about before in your previous interview in Qatar how you've always wanted to win at your home soil at Le Mans, especially given the historic venue for endurance racing it has, and you can now say you're a Le Mans winner in the Phoenix Sim Sport. So do tell me how you feel.
Amazing. It feels great to win again, to win in Le Mans. It was so great. Like, I was just so lucky about the 2 leaders crashing into Indianapolis. That just made me win today. But goddamn, I finally won in Le Mans. I take my revenge of previous season with the battle I had with Kenneth for the win. This time, yeah, it's my time to be on the top at Le Mans. And so one thing that is surprising, I've got the success on Steam that I won in Le Mans. That means I've never won in Le Mans before on the game.
Well, that must have been, that's so nice actually, because it's indeed very special, especially to win in front of your audience here. But indeed, you now hold a second race win. It's a feat very rarely achieved actually throughout your hypercar class. In fact, the only one that's actually managed to do it is the man that came in second in Sebastian Bow. So join in for this exclusive club and promote yourself up into 4th in the standings as well. So do also mention about that accolade as well, especially given your mixed fortunes throughout the season.
Sorry?
You join in through, we very rarely see double winners here in the hypercar class. In fact, I believe only Sebastian Bow is the only other man to have repeat this feat. But you've managed to do it as well. And also do give a mention for that, because I think the last time we mentioned your win was back at Monza, and it's very difficult to what's here in Le Mans. So do compare us your different wins here from round 3 to round 6.
I pretty much have nothing to say about that. Just uh, really don't have a lot of things right now. Just really exhausted right now. I don't have the words to say. It's so hot in my room, so I cannot say anything. But yeah, one thing that I'm pretty sure is that I'm pretty super happy to win again, especially in Le Mans, and I will be ready to win next round.
Absolutely, indeed. And final, oh boy, I forgot to lower my volume down. Do talk us through the last minute, because we saw a catastrophic involvement with Wart and Cheeky, and excelled yourself up into the lead. But also in the dying moments, we saw Sebastian putting on pretty fast pace to catch up. But we also saw you manage to pull that deficit as well between yourself and the Jamaican driver. So, what was you going in for your mind in those final 10 minutes, especially whenever you're so close to winning Le Mans?
That's the reason why I'm exhausted. I know in this track I was one sector in that I was really losing time against Sebastian. It was in the Porsche curve. I was really like maybe losing 5 tenths at the start and middle of the race in this corner. Then after the last part of the race, we're pretty much at the same pace, but still losing time at Porsche curve. So I do what I'm best. I am. It's like to brake later than everybody in each corner that are not Porsche curve, and that worked pretty well. Is that why I keep my car ahead of Sebastian?
Indeed, indeed. Very, very hectic. I can probably tell from your voice as well. One final question before I head you off to get your well-deserved rest. Heading over into Circuit of the Americas next, Spa at Sebring as well. This kickstarts off for the second half of the Le Mans series as well, and you, of course, start that off with a fantastic win over to your name. Do you think you'll be able to keep up through this momentum through the remaining rounds, in your honest opinion?
It's America. It will be a tricky circuit since the Cadillac loves to snap on mid fast corner. But with a good setup, it should work pretty well, and I'm pretty sure I will fight for the win again because I love this track.
Absolutely. See, massive congratulations on your win, Kenzo. You really did fully deserve it, and all the best off to you. Sorry, guys, just for a minute. Just need to breathe in just for a bit for a few moments.
Breathing is good.
It's definitely an advantage when you're trying to speak.
It's an advantage. Andrew, we'll get over through to you in the hypercar class. I'm not sure. Did you pit, by the way? Just want to make sure.
Yeah. I pit early. So whenever we were approaching the LMGT3s, I decided to pit early, kind of avoid one cycle of getting through the LMGT3s, saved a little bit of time, and also didn't change tires, so was able to really undercut other drivers that genuinely were quicker than me today. And, P5, that was much better than I think my pace really should have been. So great result for me. Brilliant result for the team as well. We took an extra point out of our main rivals. So we're leading the championship by a little bit more. And we go into the final rounds then, hopefully on the front foot.
Of course, being that with having that extra point and maintaining your lead in the championship, you have to feel for your teammate as well. That was on grass for another win and to push the gap further from himself and championship rival. It sort of came a bit crumbling down. How was he feeling after that?
Yeah, obviously, a little bit annoyed at that. He was all for a great result there today. He had great pace, all week during practice. He's really, really been on it. So really hopes were high going into this that it would be a win, maybe a P2 at least. Just unfortunately with it, turned out the way it did. Not ideal. So not great. He does lose a couple of points in the championship to his rival, but still on the top. So I think we've got to be pretty happy with that. And as we say, good team points as well. A P4 P5 means that we score more points than the P3 team. So yeah, overall I think a reasonably successful day, but could have been better.
Yeah, indeed. Pretty good for you. Second best result here, especially in a track as wide as long as Le Mans. Looking over through the remaining track as well, you've mentioned how your team having the best points out of the other teams is beneficial for your championship run. Second half of the season is now kicked off underway. Heading over to the Americas next. Any takeaways from this race, and what would you do for you and your team, and how are you feeling your preparations for Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, more practice. I think that's the big thing. That's where I'm lacking right now in quali practice. So really just grinding away on that quali, get better. More towards the front of the grid in quali, then we can fight. Whereas at the minute we're kind of fighting with one hand tied behind our back because we're too far down the grid. So yeah, we really need to be doing that and really start pushing forward. I think my battle really is for P5 in the championship. So I'm going to be will to wheel with Lewis the rest of the season, I think.
Indeed. Massive congratulations, though. Andrew must be very happy with that.
Thank
and we'll see you over at Texas.
Thank you.
Ben, I'll hand over to you. Second place over in the LMGT3s. Did a pretty good well in the pace, gone really good in qualifying. I think you were just about managed to cement your second place during qualifying ahead of Carter, and that was pretty intense a bit. I think you're just ahead by about a second, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually how close it was. I thought it was going to be Mikel in the McLaren that was closest, but yeah, Carter got a really good start, which was obviously good. But I mean, second place in qualies about as good as anybody else can manage whose name isn't Bradley. So it's pretty much best of the rest. So I'll take that. I think it's my second or third front row start this season. So qualifying just seems to be really good for me at the minute, which gives me a good start in place, so I don't get involved in any of the carnage that happens back down the grid.
Of course, a flawless race for you in comparison to other cars around you having a bit of a mishap, especially what we've seen from the incidents at Tetra Rouge, which I'm not sure if you know, but a lot of cars were involved here at Circuit of the Stars, especially for your GT3 comrades. But with yours being a fairly quiet race as well, you must be very happy with P2, especially given your paces over to the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I had a battle with Carter for the first 2 laps, but we had a crash at that right-hander. I believe it is the corner you just mentioned, but I don't really know what happened there, to be fair. But I don't think we touched. But either way, after that, it was just trying to make it a bit modest, really. Bradley he got about 23 seconds away in the end, so that's really not that bad, given he's like 2 seconds quicker in quali. So I'll take that. I was pretty quick all race. The guys behind were a bit slower nearly every lap. So, and I got within about a second just over of Bradley's fastest lap. So, yeah, all positives. Bit of a boring race, but I'll take second. And with Voller, thank God, getting third, that moves Kevin a bit further away in the battle for second, because I think
yet.
Bradley, yeah, it's not done yet, but it's a little bit further away. And after a few fairly average rounds, I'll take a second place here.
Absolutely, and also keep in mind for that, indeed, a bit heating up, but again, with Rivera dropping down a place, then initially was in third, again, up into second, very good, but it's still only about 11 points, I think, between you and Kevin, and still a bit of tight margin, so any thoughts over heading to the remaining races, and especially in Coda?
I don't think my mic's working. Oh, it's back. I don't really like Kota, so I will just take it as it is. I'll try and get some practice in over the week. But yeah, like I say, I don't really like Kota, so. But I do like Sebring. Fuji should be quite good. And there's another one. What's the other race? Is there another one? There's got to be one more. I don't remember what it is. Spa, that's it. Spa. I mean, Porsche should be quite good. I mean, the Porsche is really slow here in a straight line, so the
But
BMW
we are way
just
faster
blew.
in the corners.
Yeah, it just blew past me like I was in a Volkswagen. You know, it was mad. So, but unfortunately, I do have to head off. So, well done, guys. Good luck on the stream. See you guys all later.
Thank you very much, Ben. Willa, over to you. Must be very happy with P3, but looking back on through, first talk about the earlier incidents on your race because it was a bit hard for you to try to keep under control from your a bit of
Yeah.
mistake, shall we say?
Well, yeah, I just got a bit caught off by the slightly wet track, so I just braked at my braking points I used to in the qualifying, so that's why I went always straight. Like, I wondered, why is this car not turning? And then I watched, oh yeah, that makes sense. Then I slightly adapted and got back into the rhythm, and then the track got faster and faster, and yeah. I had a good fight with Kevin. Unfortunately, a slight contact. I think it's on me. But we will see what the stewards will decide, and I'm happy to be back in a competitive way because I feel much better than with the Lambo in the Porsche. And yeah, that's basically everything.
Do talk us through your fight in the P3 because we've seen like some incredible moves for the Mulsanne Straight, but also some spectacular collisions as well that you did actually benefit from a lot as well. So, did you think that keeping your nose clean through the mid and the late stages for the race really benefited from you to hold on to that P3 in the end?
Yeah, definitely, because I saw in the Mulsanne corner, I think it was the Aston and the Corvette collided, so I gained from that and thought, okay, I can actually get the podium here if I get into my rhythm. And then Kevin was quite at the beginning was quite fast, but then I don't know why, but he dropped off from the pace wise, maybe because I pressured him pretty hard, and as I saw that the LMHs will try to overtake us soon, I thought, okay, now this is the time I need to overtake him, because then I may have the luck that some LMH dies some stupid and he loses time. But then unfortunately I couldn't get the grip out of the car and make some mistakes, so we were back even, and then I just tried to pressure him to make a late move into the second turn, and then we collided because I think I was a bit late. Yeah, and then he spun out, but I think he still had a great recovery, and it was really fun to fight. You can always rely on Kevin that he's fighting with you like hell, but without unrespectfully. So he's always respectful to you. It's always hard, but fair. That's what I wanted to say.
Mentioned before, very good performance over in your Porsche debut, debut podium, I believe, in your Porsche as well, which is all very good news as well. How do you feel over heading to the remaining races now that you've got a car that you feel is a lot more tailored to your driving style?
I feel quite confident. There's still room to grow for me because I still need to learn how to drive the car sometimes. Basically, when it's like mixed conditions and everything, as we saw. But I think I have a better potential with the car, and I think I can also speak for my teammate Carlos. He will also have more fun and more confidence with the Porsche than with the Lambo. Even if the Lambo in the Profi scene is the faster car, for us it's just we can't utilize it. Unfortunately, I can't race at Kota because I have a really important endurance race for us in AC. But yeah, the rest of the races, I think I try to focus to get used to the car so we can attack next season.
Indeed. Massive, though, congratulations on your podium, though, and wish you all the best in the remaining races.
Thank you.
Adin?
Howdy.
Adi, thank you.
Just come out.
Yeah,
I-
that'll be better.
I can teach you the name afterwards if you want.
Yeah, please, please. It's been hectic. I just see your name. I just have a brain aneurysm. All respect
It's
to
Edna, I think.
No, but yeah.
It's been I think it's been a pretty interesting race for you. I guess we should say did a pretty good start, but I think it's just been more or less relatively in the mid pack though. Do tell us through how your race went from your perspective.
I'm pretty much where I want to be, because I'm nowhere near being quick enough to fight with the top guys like Cater or Ben. So beating the guys that I did beat was pretty good, to, to be honest. So I'm pretty happy with it. The start was really difficult because the track was damp and it was 12 degrees, so it was just really slippery. So I struggled a bit for the first 2 laps, and then it got better after a bit, and I kind of settled in. And then for the last 10 minutes, the BMW behind me suddenly gained 2 seconds a lap. So I think the gap over the finish line was half a second. So the end was pretty hectic. The start was pretty hectic, but to be honest, the like remaining 40 minutes were pretty calm. So a good race all in all, I think.
You talk about hecticness as well. We've seen like lots of GT3s retired, especially some more or less around like the packs of which you were involved in, and as you said before, it's a strong testament to be able to keep it through track and to hold on to seventh, which is, I guess, in your opinion, you would say, in a track like Le Mans, no easy feat at all.
Yeah, no, definitely, especially with the conditions we had and the fact that this track is difficult because you have to run low downforce through, for example, corners, sections like the Porsche curves where you really want high downforce. It makes it a very difficult track, so holding on is pretty good. I also switched cars from the Porsche to the McLaren, and I think that also helped. Having a more secure car helps me be a bit more confident because Qatar was definitely not a good showing. So I think that also played a bit into it.
Yeah, indeed. Mentioned before as well your change of cars as well, and you said that you feel a bit better and equaled your best performance of seventh as well, as we've seen before in previous races as well. Good momentum over from your side. Thoughts on through the rest of the season?
Just try and do what I have been doing for the races that I have gone well. Hopefully, I have the time to do everything now with school starting and stuff. But hopefully, just continuing with getting points and trying to survive every race without getting killed by crazy Mav in a hypercar. I think is the goal.
Absolutely. Very good results on you, and look forward to see you over in the future. Sebastian?
Hello.
Hello. Well, do tell us through your thoughts now. It's your third top two result in a row. I know it's not been the win that you have desired, especially from your win streak over at Portimao and in Lusail, but you still must be extremely thrilled with that.
Yeah, I didn't expect to even be on the podium, honestly, going into this race. The Ferraris are just kind of ridiculous at this track, I think, and also during this race, I expected it to rain, so I added rear wing, so I was nowhere in a straight line the entire race, which made things much harder.
Talk us through qualifying. It's been a relatively very close qualifying. We usually see you through up the field and stuff, but we've also seen you start in such positions. You're known for like your lightning fast starts and making your way up through to the lead in the span of a couple of laps here. But from the qualifying, it was just I feel you better fell off the pace as well. Would you reckon that was? You mentioned before the Ferraris had such a big advantage. Do you feel it was that as well, or do you think your rear wing being prepared for the wet also hindered that as well?
Well, in qualifying, I had a dry setup, so that wasn't the issue in qualifying.
Okay.
I mean, I think the Ferraris are still faster, but that I can't say that was the whole issue because I did get out qualified by a Cadillac, I think, or an Alpine. I don't remember which. If it was Peterson or
Pedersen was in Alpine, yeah.
okay, yeah. So I can't blame the car for qualifying. I just didn't have the pace in qualifying. So I didn't even expect to be as competitive as I was in the race. I expected to just watch the Ferraris run away from me throughout the race.
That is honestly completely fair, and I kind of don't blame you for it. But you did pretty well though yourself to get up into third. You were almost challenging for the lead at one point, benefiting the fights between Cheeky and Wart as well. Did you think back in that stage? It was only in the early stages of the race, but did you think that you'd be able to hold the lead for much longer?
I didn't. I mean, I thought I could maybe stay in the same vicinity as the leaders, but I didn't think there was any chance of me passing the leaders and staying ahead solely because of the straight line advantage. There was a point in the first, like toward maybe first 20 minutes when the leaders were battling, and I passed Tiki into the second most on chicane, and he just immediately flew by me in a straight line. So it was like the only way I have a chance to beat these guys is if I try a different strategy. So that's why I pit the lap after Wart, and I changed tires. I changed my left side tires to try and give myself a pace advantage for the rest of the race at least.
Yeah, absolutely. We also saw from the dying stages of a race, from your perspective as well, Cheeky and Ward got into a complete race altering incident. It put Kenzo on the forefront, but you were about 3 seconds behind. You mentioned before your setup was prepared for the wets for this race. Would you feel, because you managed to climb the gap in the span of the remaining 10 minutes or 5 minutes or so to only about a second, so you were faster than Kenzo through that stint, do you think with a more optimal setup you would have managed to catch up and overtake Kenzo?
I mean, you know, I think it's possible, but that would be changing a lot of variables throughout the race. I think the extra rear wing helped me in the corners, so it wasn't a total loss. It was just hard to race people wheel to wheel. But I think I would have had a better chance, but I mean, Kenzo drove amazingly. Like, I had new tires, and I could only really catch him in the Porsche curves. That was the only place where the gap was, like, apparent. So I can't put it down to if I had the right setup, I would have easily won or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, must be incredibly thrilled with your result. As you said, better expectations than what you've done. And capping this off with a second place, your third podium in a row, and caps off through the start of the second half of the season. Any thoughts from your end heading over to the remaining 3 races, but especially in Coda?
Yeah, I mean, from the last 4 races of the season, it's my 4 favorite tracks, and it gets better every round. So my 2 favorite tracks are Sebring and Fuji, and that's what we end on. So, I didn't expect to be the fastest here in Le Mans, but I do expect maybe, I mean, Coda's going to be close, but for Sebring and Spa, I expect to be up at the top again, hopefully. But we'll see.
Indeed, indeed. But massive congratulations on your P2, Sebastian, and thank you very much for having the time to talk.
Thank you.
That's really concludes through the Phoenix Sim Sport Le Mans series. An exciting round 6 means that we're going to be coming full force here to North America for round 7. Circuit of the Americas is going to play host to round 7 here, which we'll be joining back here for in a week. But a quick look here from the standings as it stands. We've got them updated here for provisional results. Ryan Hort now holds the lead, but it's now down to just 1 point between himself and Kenneth Dahl Peterson in second. Sebastian Bow gets for his upcharge. It's now third, 118 points. Kenzo Crucial Blin with his win, it's 95 points, holds up to fourth very comfortably. The Racing Gods decided Andrew Target would be better off on fifth because he still holds there from one previous race before and now. Benito Listas the mode down to sixth. Rassenhauer, good points off for him for seventh for 53 points. Lorenzo Hendricks in 39. Neon Negros did not attend, but he still holds for 27. And David Cheeky, what could have been a pretty good points all, he just comes with 1 point, having finished in 10th. Over through to the GT3s, Brandon Corder now holds a whopping 228 points ahead, nearly double second place of Ben Wart with 119, the best that he could do for second place. Indeed, holds on to the deficit, but Lees pushes out through to 11 points between himself and Kevin Rivera in third. Matthew Webb still holds on to fourth with 70 points. Electorally did not appear, so he still holds on to fifth. James Booth over in sixth with 42 points. Florian Wheeler promotes himself up into seventh with 30 points. Dean Satmeyer still holds on to 8th, 27 points, shares with Bruno Castellini, who still doesn't attend, in 9th. Samuel Bellman completes her through the top 10 in the GT3 standings. Been an exciting race so far. We'll be joining back over it again for the Circuit to the Americas. Thank you very much to everyone that attended for the interviews. Thank you all to the viewers here for watching. We'll be continuing on through with more Phoenix Steam Sport action. Our usual AC Championships would continue through on Thursday, I believe, for Formula Taurus. Friday's over for the MX5 Cups and the TCRs. And the Assetto Corsa Competizione, I think, also continues in full swing. I forgot what time was that. What was it, Andrew? Do you know?
4:30 p.m.
4:30 is for the ACCs as well. Very exciting for championships all around. Thank you very much all for watching. We'll see you over for the next round at the Circuit of the Americas over in Texas. Until then, I've been Emirates. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.